Wow. Okay.
I don't know if it is.
Excuse me, yeah. Yeah, he's going to get chairs. You get chairs and then you sit back there.
I don't want. Oh, okay.
See right here. Two right there. Is this an empty one? How are you doing? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, folks, you can go ahead and sit down. This is my front. Oh, you're welcome.
Could that chair be here? That was, somebody was going to sit here.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Go ahead, folks.
I hate the front row.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we approve the agenda, I'm going to have executive session. Can you hear me?
It should be on.
It's on.
No, it's better now.
We want to add executive session for legal on
There you
the
go.
agenda. And after that's added, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I have a conflict of interest in the 2014 Freedom Trail bid. My company bid that. I will be abstaining from any comment or voting on
Okay.
this.
Motion by Carl, and I have a couple seconds. Craig? Got a motion and a second to approve the agenda as changed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And entertain a motion for the minutes, to approve the minutes of the February 3rd meeting. Second. Got a motion and a second, discussion or questions? Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the last meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
Abstain.
And the bills in between are $97,524.18. I entertain a motion to approve them. So moved. Motion by Dave. Second. Second, Lyle. White. Any questions on the bills in between? Got a motion and second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the current claim is $41,736.57. Do I have a motion to approve them?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Craig, second Tim. Any discussion or questions on the current claims?
I got a question, Doug.
Okay.
Did you figure out those lights at the plunge?
Yeah, those were some quick connects for the lighting system we've got coming.
Oh, okay.
It's a part of it, but it's not the lights.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Got a motion and second to approve the current claims. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And at the last meeting, I allowed a motion to include a claim for Southern Hills, and it was not on the agenda. I should not have done that. And our attorney said what we should do is rescind the motion, so I entertain a motion to rescind that motion.
So moved.
Motion by Craig. Second Dave. Any discussion or questions? Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And communication from the public. Emily, you're up first.
Everyone likes to take one of these microphones.
First, I'd like to introduce myself. I don't know if all of you know who I am. I'm Emily Campbell, and I am the facility director down at Evans Plunge. I'm here tonight just to give you guys all an update on what different things are going on down there. The last time that I spoke at the city council meeting, I was still looking for an LGI class, which is the lifeguard instructor's class, to take over Joe Stern's position. I have found a couple of classes that I can register for there in different parts of Colorado. The next class is offered March 13th through the 16th, and that's in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, which means the class will also take place at the projected end time of our pool closure. I have also been in contact with Barb Limbo in Rapid City to try to attend a class that she will be having up there for that. However, she does not have current dates set for that. I did talk to her this evening, and we are looking to actually do that in a weekend in April. She'd be willing to come down to the plunge in Hot Springs and do the certification down there, along with certifying numerous lifeguards to start our busy summer season staff there. Joe Stern will be leaving April 4th. That is his last day. As I mentioned in the previous meeting, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed knowing that I'll be the only person responsible for certifying, and additional to being the facility director down there. I have no problems as far as being able to teach the lifeguard class. However, I do feel that running both the front desk and pool areas will be overwhelming and chaotic in the summertime. I have talked with Chris Yellowthunder, who is a lifeguard, and he's been with us for 5 years now. He is interested in becoming that as well, but he is still undecided. I strongly believe that we need an additional individual who is going to be an LGI certification other than myself on site in order to maintain the successful operation for this kind of facility. I would also like, or I would still like to have an aquatics director or a similar position to help teach them, run daily operations, giving guards breaks, making sure other employees are showing up on time. I have 5 lifeguards that I set up this week to take a class up there, and they will actually finish on Saturday. I truly believe that we are doing a great job down at the plunge for what's been put on our plate for right now. It's such a crazy busy time. I truly believe that I need the correct staff behind me in order to do my job to the full potential. We need somebody to run the pool area, making sure lifeguards are getting breaks, scheduling, training, certifications, basic operations. I need an assistant manager, who I have is Sarah Paddock, in order to make sure the front desk is running smoothly. Maintenance position, who I can rely on to make sure things are getting fixed in a timely manner as well. And I also have Deb Evans, who is the manager of the gift shop, and she is doing a great job. So like I said, I still strongly believe that we need to replace Joe Stern's position. So I will actually be running an ad to see what response we will get as far as if anybody would take interest in doing that. We had half-price specials in December and January. They were a huge hit with the public. The specials were advertised on radio stations, newspapers. They were in Hot Springs, Chadron, Hill City, Rapid City, Custer. Most of the walk-in rates for December were up by 87 admissions, and January admissions were even better yet, with most traffic coming in for those specials is on Sundays. We had a Customer Appreciation Day in January, and that was also another big hit. Anybody who showed proof of residency within city limits was able to swim for free from 1 to 8 p.m. We were hoping that this opportunity would give people who hadn't been in the plunge in months or even years a chance to visit and increase our membership sales. 488 people took advantage of this special. We did another promotion that was January 23rd through the 29th. Packages include 4 admissions, 2 pizzas, 2 pitchers of pop. We actually sold 216 of those packages, which has been sold the most on that website, and that's actually blackhillshalfoff.com. They went for $30. We got half, and we also got a lot of free advertising. All the vouchers for that actually expire April 30th, so we won't be carrying that into the busy summer season. We put together a special for February as well, which ran through the 13th through the 15th. The Sweetheart special was buy one admission, get one free. Any couples that were entered to swim in the drawing they either won the punch card, or there was also different cakes from Dairy Queen that were donated. I don't have exact numbers off of that. That was this past weekend. I know that it was very busy. I worked it. So I'm continuing to work with Lyra from Black Hills Badlands and Lakes and Lisa from Marshall Radio. Those are our 2 biggest ways that we are advertising right now. Of other forms of listing, our brochures, rack cards are being printed right now, and different specials to increase the membership sales on the off-season time. Our volunteers came in December 30th, January 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. They cleaned out the back ramp, got all of our inventory put back up behind our spinning room. They did a fantastic job. They also did all of our inventory, and that's all accounted for now and moved. That back ramp where all of our inventory set is actually can be used as a utility ramp now for handicap access to get upstairs onto the observation deck, the different gym areas, things like that. So it's not ADA approved, but it is a utility ramp until we get something else, formally put in. One of the next big projects that we're going to be doing is the pool closure. The set dates for the pool closure are March 2nd through the 13th, and we will reopen on the 14th. This may seem like quite a long time. In the past, they did it for 7 days. I think that we will need every day to make sure we have everything prepared, cleaned, ready to go for what we have planned. Plan to drain the pool down to normal level so we can paint pool areas, rocks, all of that good stuff. I have done the closure 2 ways before. We have done it with manpower, and we've done it with the Bobcat. This year we have decided to do it with the Bobcat, cut down on so many people coming in and trying to move those heavy rocks. Chris Yellowthunder and I have been working with Billy from the street department, and he's making sure that everything's cleaned, ready to go. We have a ramp to get all that in there. We will have around 30 people. Some of them are volunteers, some of them are our staff that we have. Tim from our advisory board is the one who's getting all the volunteers set up for that. We're also going to be doing many updates in the lobbyways, new carpets, countertops, cupboards, LED lights, all of that good stuff through the locker rooms and into the pool area. We're going to be having a brand new menu in our concession area, lots of other healthier options. There's a long list for what we're going to be doing. Please feel free to ask any questions you guys have regarding this matter. I really appreciate you guys letting me be here tonight and kind of give you an update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions of Emily from the council? If not, thank you. I might add that our revenue through December was almost $380,000, and our expenses were a little over $280,000. So we've got some money in the bank still from operations at the end of the year. We're thinking that we'll have enough to run us easily through the winter at this point and have some of the money for the first payment that will be due, our semi-annual payments is due the end of June. So we're in pretty good shape, we think, down there. Actually, a little bit better than Harley had predicted, so we're happy about that. Thanks, Emily. Tim? There he is. Tim Teich is from the advisory board who wanted to address the council.
You might want to give him a microphone, sorry, so everybody can hear. It's a pretty big audience.
As you know, I'm chairperson of the Evans Plunge Advisory Board. I want to begin by saying that everything that the advisory board has recommended to the mayor and Harley has been nothing more than a recommendation. Harley and Don can attest to that. Included in your package, you have hopefully read my letter about the incident of our meeting on February 5th. Before that meeting, Councilman Romy made false accusations towards our board concerning an unfounded rumor, which was proven wrong before I left the room. He then accused us of micromanaging the plunge and of not supporting the plunge director, which is an outrageous statement. The fact is, I have stated both privately and publicly that our plunge director has my full support. Again, we have no power but to recommend ideas to the mayor and Harley. Most of our recommendations haven't even been acted upon. Does that sound like a board that supposedly has all this power to micromanage the plunge? This is not the first time I've been berated by a council member. This type of behavior is disrespectful at best. And for this reason, I stood before you a couple of times asking for a code of ethics. This is a good time for the council to act on a code of ethics that would hold the council people responsible for their actions in and outside council meetings. A couple of days after the incident, one of our board members told me, and most of the board members were pretty upset, one was going to quit over this thing, a volunteer. A couple of days after this incident, one of our board members told me that any company would be glad to have an advisory board with so much expertise in business. And don't forget the 60-strong volunteer force we have chomping at the bit to help out. Some have already put 53 hours into clearing off that back ramp that Emily talked about, cleaning out that storage room, and conducting inventory for 2 days. I remember one of the councilmen made a statement, "Where are your volunteers?" Well, they're here. They are strong and they have proved themselves. They are again ready to go to work during the pool closure, saving the taxpayer countless dollars in labor. I believe these people deserve a hand and the respect due to them. Our advisory board has worked countless hours. I believe they also deserve a hand and respect due to them. After Councilman Romy left the room, we had a brief discussion on what had just happened. We talked about how Evans Plunge and the golf course are doing okay, but could and should be doing better. After this many years, a fantastic facility, as we have in the golf course, should be running in the black. It isn't. We discussed how Councilman Romy was doing to us exactly what he claimed that we were doing down at the plunge, micromanaging. We talked about how the director of Evans Plunge should be able to make day-to-day decisions without having to look over her shoulder, and should have fundraising or fund readily available to buy things that are needed, that are priced right in short notice. We have an opportunity here to really develop something special, something that most communities would only dream of having. Jim Hagan, Secretary of South Dakota Tourism, said in our Hot Springs Tourism Committee meeting, which I have the privilege to co-chair, that Hot Springs has more to offer than any town in the Black Hills and does less with it. The question comes down to this. Are we going to let this keep happening? Are we going to do something about it? The same tourism committee recommended that we have a park board to run our parks and government-owned entities. I called the Municipal League in Pierre and talked to Christine. She was surprised that we did not have a park board or a code of ethics for our city council. This is why the Evans Plunge Advisory Board has recommended, and I state again, recommended, to the mayor to create a task force of 3 council members 3 business people from the community, and 3 private citizens to study a better way of managing our city-owned enterprises. This proposed task force would be given responsibility to report back to the mayor in a given time frame with findings on how best to proceed for governing our public entities. For example, the park board. We could have a park board running it. It wouldn't be almost government bureaucracy, because you guys would do the funding and they would create what needs to be done with the funds. We could also have an administrator over, let's say, for an example, the park board, the parks, the recreation, Evans Plunge, the golf course, maybe the Mueller Center, whatever it may be that would be underneath that part of it. And that guy could take care of this, which would be a lot smoother than what's happening right now. Any way you look at it, we have 2 fantastic enterprises in the golf course and Evans Plunge. We have a responsibility to see that we are not bogged down by government bureaucracy. We can all thank Councilman Romey for bringing this to the forefront. In conclusion, I would like to tie all this together by saying that we all need to work together. Council people, the business community, private citizens of Hot Springs and Fall River County. I'm sure and want to believe that Councilman Romey did not come into our meeting with the graces of the whole council behind him. But it does bring lots of things to light in how city government needs to have balances in running its city-owned enterprises. I feel this is critical in taking these businesses from mediocrity to the growing and thriving enterprises. Enterprises the city of Hot Springs so desperately needs. One question I have for you, Mr. Mayor. What is the flow chart? I'm looking at it right here. How does the flow chart go for the city council and who runs what? Can the city council just go out and tell people what to do? Like let's say the street crews or somebody out weed whacking in the field. Can they do that?
They're not supposed to. The role of the city council person is to deal with ordinances, deal with the major policies and decisions of the city, set the general direction, and then the administrative body of the government is what takes it from there out and makes it work.
I received phone calls saying that certain members of the city council have been out there telling people in front of citizens of Hot Springs what to do.
We have addressed that in the past.
Okay. But I'm just bringing that up, that people had called me and told me that. So people are aware of this now. Okay? I would like to know if there's any questions. I hope there's some. I would like to know if there's any questions for the city council. I'd really appreciate it if you had some.
I've got quite a few.
Yes, sir.
How did I disrespect you?
How did you disrespect us?
You. How did I disrespect you? I'm not talking to you, Steve.
Hey.
How did I disrespect you? Well, you don't have to sit there and laugh. I want to know how I disrespect you.
You made everybody, you had people in the room going to quit.
Well, you said I had a rumor. What's this rumor that I put proven wrong?
The rumor about the countertops and stuff, that we went behind Emily and got these countertops.
No, I never said that.
Yes, you did.
I said that you changed the color.
Did I address that? Because yes, you did.
I said that you guys changed the color, that she had ordered it.
To our meeting, and we have no problem with city council coming into the meeting. And we got a city council person on it. But you came in, you were lecturing us, you were telling us that we could and couldn't do, and you were accusing us of stuff we did not do. And I do not mind if somebody comes, can I finish?
Well, you didn't let me finish.
Yeah, I did. I asked if I could talk.
Well, go ahead.
You came in and you started lecturing us on what we could and couldn't do and what our roles are and the stuff that we were doing that we're not supposed to be doing. We understand what we're supposed to be doing. I personally oversee 2 advisory boards. I run 4 different locations for education programs throughout the state. I understand advisory boards. And what you did was not appropriate for an advisory board. So if you want to have my input, that's it.
Can I finish now? I asked, Emily ordered the color on the countertop, and you guys changed the color and changed it. What did you hear, Don?
For me,
What was you told?
it wasn't the board. Emily had talked to one of the board members and she decided to change the color.
But she had already ordered one, right?
Yeah, she had one ordered.
Our
I
board
went and
had
talked to
nothing-
Tom.
Our board had nothing to do with that.
Well,
He
never-
just said that. It wasn't the board.
Well, who changed it? Wasn't the board.
Emily,
You changed it yourself, or the board member suggested different colors?
Well, I mean, there's or not the advisory board, it was the association had some color options. And Diana Bader and I had been working together. I had chose out the different browns and whatnot, and yes, they were changed. They were not cut yet.
I know
So it's
that.
not like they were cut and shipped to us or anything. So yes, I personally was the one that made the phone call to change them.
Yeah, but you had already ordered a certain color.
I had, yes, well, I had the browns.
And see, that's what I was getting at that day.
It was wrong. You came in and you said you heard a rumor. You did that at
That
the
wasn't
city council
That
meetings
wasn't a
too.
rumor? And-
Well,
and
maybe it was a
when-
rumor, but you don't come in and.
When I
get
said
on
you
top.
guys is like the golf course committee, you are. You're like the golf course committee and the airport committee. You're an advisory committee.
Why are you even, I don't even understand what you're doing there by comparing us to them.
Well,
What do you want? We're volunteers.
I don't think we're going to accomplish anything tonight by continuing this. It isn't out of hand, but I don't want it to get out of hand.
but they said they don't
I
micromanage. I've got a
understand,
whole
I
bunch of stuff down
understand
here.
both sides, but I don't think we're going to gain anything by going on.
Could I say one thing?
I do also appreciate the work that the advisory board and all the volunteers do.
I never said I didn't.
What can we come in there and on top of them? We're all volunteers, every one of us.
We do
Every
appreciate
one
it.
of us.
Yep, we appreciate it. Question, good question.
Tim, I really wish just once you would attend the advisory committee. And understand this, committee, not board, at the airport just one time, and you would understand. I don't think you guys really understand how government works. There's a budget process. No, I'm serious, Steve. I
23
encourage,
years in.
Steve, just let me finish. I encourage everyone in this room just to come to our budget process one time. I mean, I can hear you, Steve. You're not funny. I wish you guys would come one time to the budget process and understand. There's a lot of citizens. We don't let them just come in and start directing us on spending money. I mean, that's why you're the committee, and there should be a council person that's the conduit to the full council that makes the recommendations on what to spend the money on. That's how it's supposed to work. And yeah, it is, Tim.
That ain't the way it was set up. It was set up that we were to report you down in Harley.
But Tim,
That's
you're
the way
still
it was
not
set
getting
up.
this. You can't just spend money at whim. It's not legal for us to allow that to happen. This is public money. That's the part you're
That's
not.
why we need to change things. We need
You're
to
gonna change law?
We need an entity over the top. We need an entity over the top of these enterprises to make them work.
And that's
to
why,
make them grow.
like the airport, it falls under a committee. That's the way it works.
I'm not talking about a committee.
But Tim, that's how it works.
I'm not talking about a committee.
So how are you gonna change it?
We
You're
get
gonna
rid
go
of,
here?
we get rid of the advisory board then. We'd have a park board, or we'd have, and by the way, the tourism committee is coming before you too, saying that we do need a park board.
Well, Tim, I'm gonna tell you, here a little later on in the meeting, you're gonna be enlightened with me.
Steve, how many advisory boards do you have?
And they just allow you to spend money at whim.
Tell us, what money have we spent? You're doing the same thing Craig
Well,
was, is
right here.
spending money.
Okay,
That's
Steve,
just 20,000.
I still think you
right
guys
here
write
in
the
your
checks.
minutes, Steve, in your minutes, you guys want her to have a check for $20,000 just to spend at whim. It doesn't work that way in government. I mean, in your minutes, I got your minutes. I can go right back and I can look through every recommendation you guys have made.
And what is that?
It
What
doesn't
did
work
you just
that
say,
way.
Wes?
It
Was
don't.
that a recommendation, did you say?
Well, actually,
That was a
These
recommendation.
are the only minutes you use recommendation in, and that's because
Oh,
Don,
no, it isn't.
that's because, yeah,
Not-
I got
no.
every one of your minutes here.
Not, there's
Don,
recommendation.
the reason Don told me to start
I'm
doing
gonna have
that.
to cut this off because we're not gonna get anything accomplished, I'm sorry.
I really do wish you to attend just one budget meeting.
How can we get something accomplished? How can we get a code of ethics? And how can we get, how can we get things moving on this task force?
I'm gonna be addressing that with it, it won't be tomorrow, but it'll be within a few days.
I second that. I second the code of ethics. I know that, it's probably out of the public saying anything, but I second that we should do that. Because it's been a problem in even the council meetings.
I've listened to Dale so many times, it's so frustrating. It's frustrating to see the way city manager and mayor are treated. A lot of these city council members.
We can't hear.
The attitude that is brought before directly from the city council to the other city council members is not right. I mean, you guys need to get along if you're making improvements.
Have you ever been to any other council
No,
meetings?
you don't act like
Have
you're
you?
with me. That is not.
I'm asking you a question. Have you ever attended another council meeting?
You know what?
Do you think this is the only
This
place?
is what I'm talking about. This is a smart aleck commentary that goes back and forth. You guys get together. I'm tired of it.
People don't like to hear no, do they?
We don't like to hear this. We don't like to hear that. This is
I really want,
contentious.
I want to continue with the meeting. This is entertaining and it's interesting, but it's not going to get anything accomplished tonight. We have heard some of the feelings, and some of it's my responsibility to look at a board and bring something back to the city council if we can figure out a recommendation that might work, and that I will do, see what we can do. But I think we're going downhill instead of even going level at this point.
Don, just a short question. Is there any way you could tape these meetings?
Meetings?
Well, no,
Meetings
I know
taped.
you're taping this, but I mean the punch group or whatever, tape them. And if somebody comes in and raises a stink, then everybody can look at it and we know what's happening. Just a suggestion.
Thank you. Any other communication from the public? Yeah.
I was surprised that most of you guys, except for Georgia, was not at the meeting last night at the Legion. I think you guys have fumbled the ball. You guys should not have bought the Evans Plunge. You guys should not have. You guys should be worried about what happens to the VA, what happens to the veterans in our community. If Erickson Secchi and Steve D'Stasio gets their way, if he gets his way, and after the whole ESI process, after all that goes through, and if they decide to close that VA, that's going to hurt this town. That's going to hurt the Evans Plunge too. We need to have a plan for if the VA does go under, what is our plan to save Hot Springs? You guys should have been working on that first. Then buy the Evans Plunge.
Any other communication from the public?
Yeah, Don, I'd like to have Matt Friedel come talk to us a little bit.
Okay.
Matt Friedel is a parks planner, amongst other things.
Well, I know a little bit about parks. I don't know anything about saving your town necessarily in a bigger sense, but I do. I'm a landscape architect out of Custer, and I was asked by a few board members and city manager to put together a proposal for doing some master planning for a few parks in town. And I guess I've done that. I've given the proposal to the board, and anybody that's interested should take a look at it. What we've proposed is two general categories of things. One is taking an overall look at the parks in town and the recreational amenities and doing kind of a needs assessment about what you have, what you need, what you might need, how that compares to other towns in the region and national standards. And then taking 3 of those parks and doing a more in-depth master plan process. And this would all be through public meetings where you all get to come in and take a look at plans and talk about what you think is working in your town and where you'd like to see investment made. And so it's kind of an exciting process from my perspective. I love the little master plans for parks and towns, and it's a chance for you to set some big goals for how you spend your money as a community over the next few years in that place. The 3 parks we're looking at is Butler Park, Brookside Park, and then I guess, I don't know if there's an official name for the 90 to 100 acres that are up where the city well is at. But that's the proposal we've done, and I'd encourage you all to weigh in with these guys, whether you know you think that's a worthwhile endeavor. I would say that in small towns, these kind of cultural amenities are really what make people love their city and why they want to live there. So having those places be really solid amenities for your town is good for the community overall and for your use over the years. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. You bet.
Would you be willing to come to the tourist committee meeting and give a little shot on what you are doing?
Yeah, I'd come to every committee that would want to talk about it and explain what our process would be. And I guess my little firm of Tallgrass Landscape Architecture is a small town firm, and we're interested in our neighbors and all that and helping out wherever we can. I feel a little hot after all this conversation you guys have been having. So we're turning red up here.
If I can get your email and
you bet I'll give you a card. Anybody else that would like one as well. So, yeah.
Are you aware that we've already had several meetings like that in this week?
You know, I'm aware that you guys have been thinking about different things at different points in time. I'm not really sure the whole history of all of that. I know a lot of people in town and everything, and I know that there's a lot of progress in different fronts. I guess we're a firm, so we get hired and we make a product that you can use.
I guess my real question is, how are we going to work together with the input we already have? And I think that's what Tim's implying.
Well, the first thing we got to do, we got to get the council on board to see if we're going to kind of buy into the concept. That's why I brought him here. We had a little informal meeting, and we talked to him about kind of some of the questions, because I have a whole list of things people want, but his company actually puts on, I guess, a Q&A for the public to kind of figure out what they want. Then he takes it back to his company, and he basically puts it into a master plan for us, so we've got a vision to go. I mean, somewhere to end up with.
My point is let's quit having surveys and community meetings and start moving forward.
Well,
I mean, I don't know how many I've been involved with in half of this room.
But we got to have the money.
You know, we need somebody to move forward.
That's what we're trying to do.
I agree with all that. I guess if you have a list of things that you can do right now in your parks, you probably don't need me. If you don't have that, then you could use our help. As far as the public input in the process you have all done already, we want to gather as much of that as possible and incorporate it into the front-end learning process and have it as a resource in the appendixes of the document and all that. So, yeah. And, with the master plans for the specific parks, you'd end up with a drawing of that park and where things in the future would go and all that.
Right now, I think that our town is trying to figure out where we want to go with what we have, like our water, our feeling water and things like that. And I think if we were to expand on our parks, first we need to figure out where we're going to go, what we all want. Do we want to work on our water? Do we want to expand on that? Do you know, before you say, okay, let's do all these parks, first we have to say, okay, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna grow our town? Because I hate putting the cart before the horse. If we need to, I think we need to get together and everyone decide what we're gonna do with this town, what is our focus? Like I read in the paper, the tourism board with the, you know, the healthy water and things that we have that no one else has. And I think we need to focus on the whole plan first. And then say, okay, now we can build our parks, now we can do this, now we can do that. I think everything's been so sporadic with different groups, left and right. We need to come to a focus. That's just my suggestion.
The Parks and Recreation Committee, the Coastal Recreation Committee will be taking a look at this and probably coming back, maybe even at the next meeting with a recommendation to the council.
Okay.
But there has been a lot of work done by the 2020 group and by the tourism people. That would be important to keep that in mind as you go with any parks plan if you do it now.
You bet. And you know, what I've learned so far is that you guys have a lot going on, and there's a lot of different kind of ships going in town. And I recognize this, what we propose is a portion of what you need to do overall as a community, and that larger visioning that you're doing and have been doing and will be continuing to do is a much larger process than just the parks. And you know, there is something in the water in Hot Springs, and I say that as someone who used to live here. And I don't know, half the time it makes you crazy, and half the time it leads you somewhere good, I guess.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
I missed one item on Vision 2020. I was going to give the report back, but they asked me at the last meeting for the report back of where we are and some of the projects they've been recommending. I've got a list of them here that they had put together last summer, and I'm just going to go down the list. On the river improvements, like to continue the river walk. Last week, Tracy and I went to Pier, made a request for a grant for a continuation of the sidewalk between Evans Plunge and Chautauqua Park. We don't have an answer yet. I expect an answer this week. They said they'd let us know within several days. But we agree also up here at the city council table that our water is important, and continuing the water improvements and the walkways and the river walks is really important. We talked a little bit about the gazebo at Kidney Springs. I did not find anybody last year to do the work on it. We were going to try to get it done in-house. At this point, if we can't free somebody up on our parks department, we're just going to have to hire somebody. It isn't, I don't think, in bad shape. We just need a little bit of work done to that. So that has not been ignored. We did not get it done last year like we'd hoped, though. Splash Park, Kim's been doing a great job on getting money raised for Splash Park. That will be part of the master plan that probably comes back from Matt if we do that. If we don't do that master plan, at least at that point, we will have some sort of our own homemade plan, I would guess, for all the parks and for the river and the whole city. So that has not been ignored either. We don't have a location yet, of course, because we don't have enough money to even get it started yet. But it's coming. We've got the money at City Hall in a special fund we set up for any of these fundraisers. So we know that there are things that come up out there that we're going to be asked to hold money for. Signage for local attractions. There's been some look at some branding of signs. What do we want? An idea came up that I think you're aware of here within the last month or two about a totem pole type of a sign. If that is what we end up with, and if everybody buys into that, that would be unique enough. If you put them around town, it probably would show as either a tourist attraction or as a city function that the people would see, recognize, and be able to look at. The lights at the depot, we did have it lit over the Christmas holidays. Don't know exactly what we want to do in the future. Last year we spent close to $6,000 on fixing up the depot building itself. It had some work that needed to be done, so it's a lot better than it was. So we've done quite a bit of work in the depot, but permanent lights, nothing's been done there at all yet. And the same thing with the waterfall, light up the waterfall, nothing at all has been done on that. We don't have anything in any budgets for it right now, assuming it may be sort of expensive, but nothing has been done for the waterfall lighting yet. And if there's a good idea of what might work, we'd like to take a look at it. And if it's enough money where the council has to budget it, they can take a look at it during their budget session this summer. The outdoor theater says we need a commitment from the city to accept a grant and market for the theater. We've got the funds set up, so if we get any grants in, it will not get lost that day for the theater. So we're ready there to accept and commit funds that won't get lost in the general fund at City Hall. You talked about city trails. We talked about them just a little bit already. We've looked at some different city trails. Part of our master parks plan, if we look for the whole city, are to be looking at trails all over the city. There's ideas that have been floated around, and there's maps of probably 6 or 8 or 10 different trails within the city. They're pretty expensive. Tonight, later, we might award a bid. I don't know exactly what Parks and Culture and Recreation is going to suggest, but I'm guessing we're going to extend part of the river walk tonight with concrete. The doggy bags, keep them stocked. We've tried to do that. We have had some vandalism. We've had toilets plugged with the bags. It's not an easy problem to just fix because it's hard to keep the bags out there for the people. I don't know what to do with it. Like I say, we've had some vandalism problems, and it's difficult when the guys that are putting them out there got to go back the next day and clean up in the toilets and clean them out of the toilets. Bathrooms at Brookside Park. Just this last summer or early fall, we put in a water line to Brookside Park. I don't think there's a plan for a bathroom in there. There's plans for sprinklers right away, but we had to have the water available in order to put the bathroom in. So we have done quite a bit of work on the projects. I'm guilty for not reporting it back to you guys, just exactly where we are through the Vision 2020.
I just want to thank you all for your time and work. And we'll, of course, follow up with things that haven't been addressed, of course, in a month or two.
I'm guilty of not reporting back, and I'm just as guilty with the Evans Plunge Advisory Board because I haven't updated them just like I did you from some of the stuff that they've asked that we either have or haven't done with reasons why. And I'm doing that tomorrow at their meeting.
Tim, I'd like to thank the volunteers too for doing the depot with the lights.
Yeah, they look good.
Hey Don, I'd like to make a comment on, I don't know if it was mentioned before, but we noticed the public access cable channel did have the other night one of the city council's broadcasted on it.
Really?
And of course, there was other updates, scheduling, and you know, it seemed like the channel was improved. It looks like the chamber has done, you know, a good job of making great improvements to it. It looks like there's still room for further improvements, but at least we were seeing things like the city council meeting and.
Well, that was the first attempt that the school let us put stuff on there. So we'll be doing that, you know, monthly with our calendar of events, and you know, we're talking with the school back and forth about, you know, trying to get videos on there of sporting events. So we're working with the school, but there is going to be a cost, you know, situation there, trying to get cameras and things like that. But we are in the process of getting that put together and trying to make that more accessible to the community.
Yeah, that's great, you know, if we can keep up. If there's people that can volunteer for that stuff too, you know, I mean, that's, in other communities, that's an organization in itself to just manage that stuff. So it's great when you go to Channel 91, people do it. You know, you can see some of the events that are coming up and so forth. So, good job.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Todd. Any other communication from the public? Yeah.
I have a question. There is, this going back to the Evans Plunge, there is a sales tax again, and I believe part of it, I don't know how much, has to go to the state. I wondered how much went to the state and how much goes to the city and where does it go?
Sale?
The sales tax that the plunge gets.
Oh, sales tax.
Yeah, part of it goes to the state, I understand, but the part that goes to the city, where does it go?
It goes into our sales tax account.
And where is that?
Sales tax account is, it takes the place of some of our general taxes. We use some of the sales tax for buildings. The city council, through the budgeting process, takes the sales tax money and assigns it to different places. But it comes back to the city. The state gets 4% and the city gets the remainder.
And do we know how much that is? Does that go anywhere? Can we see where that?
We don't have, it goes into a big bucket and it gets all stirred up. And then as it gets full, we know how much is in it, and we take up what we need for different projects. Nothing is earmarked in a general budget. There is a budget, so we know how much is coming out, but we can't track it dollars from the plunge to any one
So
project.
that money can't go back to
No, the plunge, it could go back to the plunge if the city council wanted to.
But you don't know how much it is, or where?
We know how much it is, but it isn't earmarked for a certain project. But the city council is trying to make the Evans Plunge work as an enterprise fund without the tax dollars going back into it.
But if necessary.
If it's necessary, it would have to come out of the sales tax, yes. But right now, it looks like it won't be necessary. Right.
Four state, 2%, and one to the bid and one has to the
No communication with the public, Dan.
Thank you, Don. It's a little off topic here. Has anyone heard how the library tax district authority bill, how'd that?
The library bill went to the Senate floor today and was defeated. So,
Okay.
pardon me?
Was it something that could be brought back up, or was it really a problem?
It could be brought back up in a future year, but it can't be, it won't pass this year. It was obvious. I think it failed 24-8 maybe, I can't remember. So it's not gonna happen. Might happen in a future year, but it won't happen right now. Any other communication from the public? Okay, I'll continue. Personnel, you can see on your agenda anything that has happened. We did have a bid on the extension, the south extension on the Freedom Trail project. We've got the bids, a copy of the bids are in your packet. And Wes, is there a recommendation from Coastal Recreation on what they wanted to do?
Yeah, I had some questions from some people, but you basically answered them today for me, so yeah, I would make that recommendation that we accept the bid.
Second.
So we have a recommendation to accept the low bid from Construction Services. Okay, any questions or discussion?
So does that mean we have funds to extend the trail?
Part of that pot that gets full and then we take out pieces of it. There was some money in that pot for the Freedom Trail extension, so we do have it in the budget.
That's the budget process I'm talking about.
Yay, thank you.
So we will be continuing from the bridge south to Big Bats parking lot as soon as the contractor can get in there and do it, probably this spring. I might also add, so there's no question in the future, Dwight Wiener's company is a company that had the low bid. He is on the city council, and state law says that as long as it's a bidding process and there's more than one bid received, it's just normal. Had there only been one bid, by state law, we could not have accepted it. But it is legal the way it is. We've accepted bids, and his is the lowest bid. So I have a motion and a second to accept the low bid on the Freedom Trail project. Any more discussion or questions?
We should note that the price is $27,223.28.
Give them the high bid.
The high bid, is that,
on top.
$63,500.
Big range in bids.
Local boy did good for us.
Yeah, I think so.
Any other discussion, questions? I have Have a motion and a second to accept the low bid. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And we've got a plat 1R in your packet. I'd entertain a motion to approve this plat.
Second.
Motion by Craig, second by Dwight, and also seconded by Wes, so you can take your pick, Debbie. To accept the plat, any discussion or questions on the plat?
They just changed it, included another section, I guess. from last time, right?
Yeah, there's one piece that was not on the first plat they wanted on there. A motion and second to approve the plat, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And we've got some training coming up. We've got the MSHA training at the Mueller Center February 19th. This will be a safety training meeting. And we've got 2 travel requests on the back of your agenda. The first one is for pavement and bridge workshop in Rapid City. It'll be February 26th and 7th. We have 3 people we want to send up there. So when we're working on our streets, we know, or at least we should know, what we're doing, how to do the crack sealing, just the conditions of the streets. So I'd entertain a motion to approve that first one.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the next one is a travel request for Scott to go to Pier to a code enforcement meeting. It's April 30th and May 1st.
So moved.
Second. Got a motion and a second to approve that. Discussion or questions on that? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We've got an application for temporary alcoholic beverage license for the Vault for March the 15th down here at the Mueller Center.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion or questions on that? That's for the Taste of Hot Springs. It's a chamber function. Got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And easement at the airport. Craig.
Yes, VDOT has a pipeline that goes across city property at the airport, and they don't have no easement. And if we let the dirt work and stuff continue out there, if somebody hits it, they wouldn't really have to fix it. So I think what we need to do is get an easement in place for the feedlot, so nothing happens to their water.
Yeah, I've got a copy of the easement just this afternoon from them. Yeah, I don't think it's recorded, but the easement is in place from the city.
Okay, it's not recorded, because I want to record it.
I've got a map, and I can't tell from the map exactly where it is. It's by the quarter section line.
Okay.
But I do have that.
So we're gonna have
So
that
I'll
recorded.
give it to you to work with the airport managers and handle whatever you need to do.
Okay.
Okay, and Evans Plunge, Craig.
Well, I don't really want to argue no more. What I was gonna do is see if Wes is ready to get that under his committee, but I don't know if he is or not, so.
I guess I thought it was already.
You know,
So scratch this for tonight.
unless he's ready,
Nope.
so scratch it.
Hey. Committee reports. Carl, I don't think you had a,
We haven't, but we got a meeting coming up on the 26th.
okay? And Public Works, Dwight, did you have anything?
Not much. Meter upgrades to radio reads, we are waiting for some more info from Tracy on pricing on that. We're also considering a screw press for the sludge at the sewer plant, which would alleviate the need to applicate sludge at the airport. Hill City has put one of these in, and Tracy and hopefully myself would like to go look at this screw press to see if it's something that might work for us to alleviate a problem we have. And Tracy would like to go through. Tracy's also going to look at some sewer line projects to be done this summer. Very short meeting, that's it.
Okay, thanks, Dwight. Public safety, Greg?
Yes, we talked about crossing guards with the students up at the school. We want to have some signs put in. They're having problems with high school kids coming out of the parking lot, and one kid almost got run over and stuff, I guess. So we're gonna, I don't know if Valerie's here or not, but there she is. She talked to DOT and she's got most of that stuff set up, given to the school. You want to say something, Valerie?
Yeah, the Volunteers of America and the Department of Highway Safety, they're gonna fund buying the vests for the kids, the cones, and the signs that they hold. And then the coalition will buy the crosswalk street signs, the lime green ones, like I said.
And the street department will put them up.
Yep, and you guys said the city then would install them. So I think we have all the costs for it covered, and I talked to Todd Albertson with the Highway Patrol, and they're gonna see about coming down and providing a first training and then showing people within the school how to do it so they can do it in-house from then on to the kids.
Thank you, Valerie.
Yep.
We talked about some gentleman wanted an unloading zone on 16th Street. DJ's gonna check into that. I forgot what it's for though.
There was a handicapped person that lived in the house.
Was that the 16th Street? Yeah. He wanted an unloading zone in front of his house because the church parks in front of his house and he has to carry his mother-in-law from the car into the house. But Bob's gonna talk to him and see what he can do. Airport sludge application. We need to, they need to talk to Tracy because if we don't get that press, we have to applicate inside too, not just outside. Most of the fields outside could be farmed by a farmer that would choose, I guess. They're taking bids. And I don't know if they'll want it applicated or not. On the burning ordinance, the street and sidewalk ordinance, and the sidewalk replacement and repair policy, Dave and I is reading those over, and we're gonna meet soon, I guess. I don't know when for sure.
Okay.
25th in Wilson. A lady wanted a stop sign because those people at the state home is traveling a high rate of speed by her house, and there's kids up there. BJ said that he's gonna go talk to the state home and the construction crews and see if they'll take a different route. And I haven't heard back from them. And we talked about the need the rest to clean up on that property on Fresno, and Scott says that we need to go forth with it. That's all he said.
Okay.
I guess the neighbor wants the fence cleaned up that's in his yard and he don't like it.
Yeah, I tried to call on that today and I didn't get an answer again.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Craig. Coastal Recreation, Wes, did you have any more?
Yeah, we had a brief meeting, but we kind of went over a little bit about, with Matt, talking about his stuff again. We talked a little bit about a skating pond, and it just, I guess, never really did work at the park. So something was thrown out by Jason out there at the golf course that possibly people could skate on one of those ponds out there at the golf course. I guess, I don't know which one he was talking about. We need to narrow that down, but that's just something to think about for people that want to ice skate. There's a couple of ponds out there that they could sure skate on. I mean, it's just a matter of, I guess, someone checking the ice. I mean, other than that, it was a pretty brief meeting.
Okay. Thanks, Wes. We have a District 9 meeting up here at Wooley's coming up April 2nd. If anybody in the council wants to go, make sure to tell Debbie by March 18th. And if you want to bring your wife or husband or significant other, whatever you might have, you can pay for them, but they're invited to. The city won't buy except for the council people. So make sure to tell Debbie by March 18th if you want to go to the meeting. As I said a little while ago, the library bill made it to the Senate floor today and it failed. So it I'm sure is done for, probably for good, or at least for this year. And the only other thing I have is we're going to have to go into executive session for a short meeting. There will not be any action taken after executive session.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I would like to take this opportunity. I think we should all give all of the volunteers at all of the areas that are helping in the city a good hand for all their help that they
Thank you, Carl, and thanks again to the volunteers. It's really good to see everybody here. We appreciate it. This is sort of like the city council meetings. Usually it's a few more people than this, but I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for legal items. Motion by Carl, second by Dave. Dave, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no.